We've talked about Royalize, the big one. Desmond, Nico, and Frozone still in the 30s. So map number 6 is here. We got to get a move on, gents and ladies. Let's see what they can do in the last map of the day.
Well, as we get into our final map of the day, have no fear because you're going to get 6 more games. We're going to jump over to EU tomorrow. But for North America, this is your final map. That zone is shifted ever so slightly towards the right. But for the majority of the major POIs, that's not a bad rotation if you land maybe Rohan Oil just on the outskirts. But we're passing over Observatory. We've got Bay coming up. 2 heavy-hitting POIs for a lot of our teams.
Big storylines on the days. Who's walking away with the cash and who's contesting off the drop? I guess it's going to be Mayapo, 4 and Jason Autorize. Honestly, they needed an underwhelming performance from a hot-hitting trio come together for this event, and we're swinging over. I mean, Mayapo was the winner of the last World Series of Warzone. Changed up teams a little bit, playing with his cousin. Needs a big map here in order to qualify for Stage 2. Yes, there's a lot of money on the line today, but there's more money on the line in Stage 2. And then into the global finals. Only way to get to the global finals in person, you got to get through Stage 2. So hopefully you don't have to re-earn your pathway into Stage 2 if you can break top 25. And speaking of the teams, we talked about them a couple times, Tiff. One of the teams that you and I love to cast over, Braxton Squad, briefly on our screen. They have worked their way to top 20 just barely. They need another big map to solidify themselves there.
This just shows you the criticality of smokes. Yes, it's early game. You're not going to have a lot of utility to your name. You're just working with what you've got in Devo. Well, he's got a little bit of a teammate with a sniper because Royalize is able to connect. It's not going to magnificent into a little bit of damage there. No real elims, but they are going to continue on looting, grabbing that cash. They want to prioritize getting their real weapons fast because there's obviously 3 teams in this vicinity.
Yeah, Royalize's team is currently sitting, I believe, just outside. They're in 31st overall. Now, as we compare some of these score lines from yesterday, it was fun to see the analysts talk a little bit about it as Aydan squad setting up for a potential tournament victory here. Is yesterday, or rather, sorry, last week when we were doing our qualifiers for this, you're looking at Z-Spin at 36 kills individually. Top after 5 maps was 28. There was only 5 maps in the qualifiers, so we were comparing off the stats we currently have. The cutoff though was about the same. Our current cutoff is about 46 points. The cutoff in the quals was about 42 points. All right, so we're seeing about the same amount of points after 5. So on average, our cutoff needs to be around about that 50 to 55 point margin that we were talking about at the beginning of the broadcast.
3 minutes into the map, 50 squads still alive. No one losing, really too full on the contest, but Sparrow, Satarsha, Uncivil Queen, we seem to have met their makers. They're trying to just escape Royalize and Co, but they're not able to do so as one knock is going to be picked up, and it turns out it's actually not Royalize. They've run into some real gnarly heavy hitters in the form of Huskerrs and Scumman and Unrational.
And this is exactly what you were going to do. If your Huskerrs Unrational is coming, you can't let off the gas. You are playing for cash at this point. You've qualified. Trust me, there's no question you're making it to Stage 2. So now it's about the money at the top of this leaderboard. We've talked about it a little bit. We need to re-mention it. Yes, 30,000 for first place. There's still $21,000 up for grabs for second, $16,000 for third. So every kill counts. If you want to be inside the top 3 where a lot of the cash is, you need to keep finding eliminations going into the final couple of maps, because we've seen maps where people are dropping 60-point games, jumping from 15 to top 3 pretty quickly. Yes, everybody's qualifying, but they're playing for their careers. They're playing for money. That's what we love to do here with Warzone, is throw some large amounts of cash their way. This is a $1.2 million tournament series, Tiff. This is the first 150K of that.
It's pretty wild that we've got that for Warzone 2, and people are like, well, hey, shouldn't this be played, you know, in person? Well, here's the deal, guys. That global LAN that we keep harping on is in person, so you will get to see the top creme de la creme of Warzone 2 competition on LAN, guys. And you know, Aydan, Raid, and Adrian, they've already booked their ticket, sealed to the next step to potentially work their way to a ticket to that global LAN. But now you're talking about it, 30K. They want to secure that bag for first.
That's right. Team IQ doing a lot of the same. They're currently situated in 5th place overall, and some of the teams vying for those same spots, jockeying back and forth. Well, it's a team across from them, the building over, Shifty, only a place or two ahead of them. They would love to win this gunfight to advance up this leaderboard and earn some extra cash. This is my favorite conversation we get to have in Warzone, Tiff. This is essentially like a multi-$1,000 map of Warzone, just this map with where we're at in the leaderboard. So every fight counts, and you've got to treat it with that severity. You've got to set the stakes in your mind as high as they could possibly go, because this single gunfight could determine whether they're walking away with $7,000 each or only $3,000 each.
Yeah, Triple S on your screen. Shifty was looking to push the issue, not able to cover the distance. They called in a PA. Unfortunately, not necessarily going to connect, but this did make IQ, Arrays, and Cope kind of shelter up. But we know they have a good side. But Soka, they are making plays. Shifty's able to grab it down, utilizing the drill charges to force the issue. That is how you pinch someone in a building. And now Arrays, he's still getting dusted. Shifty making all of the plays happen here for Triple S.
The Cash Bandit's on the loose, and Soka's playing backup Overwatch, conveying information as he sees it. Shifty is putting on a show, isolating the 1v1. Skullface here to help play some trades. There's one more remaining in this building. Let's clear him out. Find the rats. Oh, we need to clear all of our corners. We got to check behind the doors. We're riding away playing hide and seek. We lose one because of that. I think we've lost Soka on the other side. Quick buyback. He's gonna be back into the gulag rather first, and then we'll see if he can get back into it. They do find the wipe. It just wasn't as pretty as it could have been.
All right, Huskerrs v Stellar in the gulag. Utility is pretty much burned through for Huskerrs, but that frag grenade is beautifully done. You can see the shields are going to be cracked, able to grab something else. A dolphin dive to reposition. Huskerrs clearly has the advantage here, but we've seen crazier things happen in the gulag, so he's going to make sure to cover his bases with the flag. First shot to go out, he is able to seal the deal.
Can you tell that Huskerrs is one of our few keyboard and mouse players? That snap was nice. Swung around, saw the perspective, was able to find the win, and guess what? His teammate was able to do exactly that as well. They found some early demise there in the map, but winning the gulag feels good. Momentum's still on their side, but they are going to have to stabilize. Bleeding has been stopped for a moment, but quickly it'll start again if they're not careful. Hey, there's a team that we love to see on broadcast. Can we get some Waseems in the chat? We love Waseem. We love Classic. We love Crowder. They've had a tough day today, but it looks like Crowder's finding an elimination in the kill feed.
That's what they need to do. They do have a team on their roof who's deciding to drop down and come through the door, but just like that, homie got deleted, sent back to the lobby. Hopefully he got gulag valid, because that was scarily easily. But now you can see the lay of the land here. Rated and Aydan looking to take high ground advantage and kind of just stare, get that information right. Who's on other rooftops? Where can we make our plays and moves at?
Aydan and Rated, nice high ground, like you said. And it's at those moments you think back on and say, whoa, if they would have had a precision airstrike, that's frustrating, right? You get those picks, you get those knocks with the sniper, you can get those free picks and those free kills for points if you can follow up with the PA. That's what the players are always talking about. Hey, do you have a PA? Precision airstrike, super crucial to confirm your downs with those snipers. Those kills add up. Trust me, if you can walk into the mid game with 1 or 3 or 4, okay, Scumming, he's gonna find the 1-2 quickly out of nowhere, make it potentially 3. That's a full team wipe, I believe, of squad 19. Scumming making it look easy from the low ground, Tiff.
I mean, Scumming haters going crazy now. Let's see it. Run it back. I want to see the squad wipe once again, but no, Adrian is not available. Rated and Aydan still last alive for that team, able to keep the dream alive, but TVE looks like Tommy's on the ground, looking to put a self-res in his leg. He's able to get it off now. Tommy and Almond trying to reunite and take down these squads, or do you just get out of dodge? We've seen them play this highway area a lot, so that just goes to show you with some center zones, our teams are making the same rotations game in, game out, and usually running into a lot of the same teams.
Yeah, and I think this is what they like. They like familiarity. They like playing together. They're making sure to maintain destroy their entire position, dominate a POI, and then move to the next if they need to. These are the crucial moments, though, you got to look back on and think about where's our middle game strategy. We're setting up for the end game. When you set up for the end game well, you oftentimes find a lot of eliminations, but mostly you have the correct positioning in order to win your gunfights with a higher percent chance of likelihood. Now, Aydan's going to win that one, no problem at all. That's 3 for him. Some of our top teams doing very, very well, which is boding well for Aydan's team to potentially win this thing out. TBE will not go without a fight, though, because they're still battling. They're fighting their early elims. Here's the replay of that scumming play I was talking about. 1, 2, I said it earlier, and you can buckle my shoe. That was a great play, and honestly, the trades there, it doesn't matter. If you fry people down that fast, you hit your headshots, there's no way you're winning that gunfight against scumming.
Yeah, because we talk about when you push a team, you always hear the term stacking. I like to call, you know, if you're going to be 3-man pushing a team, a furious death ball. That's sometimes the best way, but I'm sorry. Hold on, Jace. Let me run that snipe back. We need to see some more sniping action on the main broadcast. That's what I like.
I'm gonna take a look through our leaderboards and see where this squad is at. Squad 11 is one of those teams that a lot of people thought would do fantastic today, and they're just inside the top 20, just barely eking into 20 as we lose Jace in the process. These are 3 different players that played on 3 different squads last year and had limited success, actually varying success. Mayapple won last year with Ahsoka and Skullface. This time around, working their way through the top 25, trying to gain some chemistry. Quick look at the Dead or Alive tracker while we're in combat. You can see Natasha's down, Karma's down again. Lunchtime, Timmy 2Ks. We got all kinds of people eliminated, but overall, the only team that was maybe something we need to keep an eye out for in terms of bubble, Braxton squad was down to just Prospect alive. They must stay alive, Tiff. If Prospect goes down here in just a moment, that could be all she wrote for Braxton squad, and they will have to re-qualify for stage 2.
Look, we've seen Unrational go on the regain for their team. We just got to see if Prospect can do it for themselves. And, you know, I was thinking about it. Prospect actually played with Ebates and DJ Moss in this 2022 CDL Resurgence, now kind of going under the wing with Braxton and Empathy. Formerly, they had played with Tyronix, who was talking about how he was looking for a team for stage 2. So this is a mission-critical fight. And if you're going up against TBE, it is like David and the Goliath out here, my man.
We've been talking about the Padawans versus the Jedi Masters. This is what we mean by that. TBE has a potential chance here, as it looks like Team 33 has maybe gotten more of their players back. Potential chance to wipe Braxton out of not only this lobby, but also out of the stage 2 finals. Again, they'll have to re-earn their spot if TBE elects to push this. Now, I don't necessarily think this is the most favorable push for them, and they know that. So they're going to smoke their advances and make sure they can clear through. Prospect's not as close as they think they are. So they're going to find some loot here as they bring Tommy back and be able to at least address this fight with a full 3-man squad.
I mean, this marries up to their rotation, right? We'll typically see them having a Hummer, kind of making those later pushes inside a vehicle. This is kind of the area where you will grab that vehicle from, but at least Prospect was able to kind of go on that regain, get his teammates back into the lobby, and it seems that the bleeding has stopped in that engagement for now. Scum and Unrational, they're making their way back in, but some other teams here at Observatory just need to capitalize on the redeploy. Now, in the qualifier, something we witnessed was they were getting shot down. Look at this. Exactly. You can't leave now.
Can't leave now. Observatory is very contested. Dr. Drummer looking for one, does not find it, but the trades does find it. There goes Super Evan, I believe, falling to guns. So that's its phase doozy. Mr. Swagg himself. Teams in trouble on the other side. One of those teams that should qualify, but now at risk if they have been fully wiped. I'm going to keep an eye on these bubble teams. A lot of cash at the top we're talking about. A lot of cash to potentially be earned by TBE, Aydan, Huskerrs, Almond, IQ, all of those players. But you got to win your gunfights if you want the cash, and you got to win your gunfights if you want to be in stage 2. So this is Dongi and Nofo finally back on main stage, Tiff. This is a team that had such a hot start in the second half of their tournament. Has been nothing less but sleepy. We haven't seen them on main hardly at all because they've been either going out early with a couple of elims. They're still there, right? They're still inside of stage 2. There's really no question about that. But the question is, can they walk away with any cash? They could have been a front runner in this entire tournament with the consistency they had in this first half. They just couldn't hold on for all 6 games. The 6th, though, could be the difference maker.
Have no fear, top 25 appear to be in the money, but it makes a difference as you work your way up. Dongi and Co. still in 10th place overall, but not for long if Huskerrs and Co. have something to say about it.
We still have 39 teams left on the map, so we're not even into the first multiplayer. We're probably about to be here in a moment. Scumman's kind of set up this net guarding the other side so they can play each other's angles. Gonna take this nice and slow. No need to push this fight immediately, especially because they likely hear these footsteps behind by Blacides and Co. A couple different teams here. If they fight one, likely that's the signal flare for the other to follow up, and the third party will come into play. So if we're electing to push this Blacides fight, there it is. There's the shots. Will Vonbot, Nofo, Dongi leave their position to push the fight? Doesn't look like it. Went too fast.
I think we were talking about people getting a little more hasty, especially with Dandro kind of commenting on that. The lobby essentially was nuking itself way quicker than usual, as we had seen in the first maybe 1 or 2 games. And that's tough, right? Because if you're still finding yourself outside of the top 25 looking in, a lot of these kills are getting kind of sponged up by your top tier teams that are looking to make a play for the top 30K prize for first. So what is that to say about people that are looking for opportunities or just right on the cusp? I'm not sure, but eBay just got dropped in the kill feed, and, you know, he was really hoping to get inside the top 3.
Yeah, Team Tnux is one to call out here. That's Team 35 was on your minimap there shortly ago. They've had this kind of quiet run on main stage, but inside the top 15, they've really had a great tournament consistency-wise. Would love a big breakout game here in map 6 to earn some extra cash. So keep an eye out for that Team 35, Team 34 as well. One to keep an eye out for. That's Team Brolic. That's the one I shouted out earlier. Chemistry probably not where it could be, but every game seemingly getting better. Last map put them inside top 25. That's right there on the edge of your zone, the top left-hand corner of your screen. Watch out. Jesus, Brolic, Mutex, all individually very, very skilled. You'd love to see them have some chemistry ratted out in the last map to score a lot of points.
This is tough. You got Adrian and Co. They're really pushing the issue on Team 10X. And you were talking about a team that needs to have a performance. Well, that's it. So it's like a lot of the heavy hitters are taking things away and denying teams the ability to move up in the leaderboard. But this rotation, utilizing the smokes, it's pretty textbook for what we've witnessed throughout Warzone 2. But something they're doing on their rotations is they're hugging each other. That way, one isn't necessarily getting singled out. And Scumman has been using so many claymores and proximity mines today. We were not expecting that, but I like it.
Well, guess who's hanging out on top of the building? It's about what you expect. I believe we've got OP marked on one of the high points over there. I believe that's pink team or otherwise. Yeah, it's Yeet finding a snipe on Irrational, actually picking off one, making this fight for Dongi and Nofo much easier because they now no longer have a player advantage. Scumman and Huskerrs are going to think twice about pushing this fight. Yeet, OP marked, Shade they need a big one, Tiff. I think they're in 38th or so. We got to make a move, gents. Yes, we want high ground. Yes, we want positioning. We want eliminations. I mean, we gotta fry if we want to qualify for stage 2. Certainly can do it. I know they can, but we can't hang out in that building all day long. I do like the position though on edge of zone. We'll see if they can pick up some eliminations because of it.
Yeah, math's hard, but I think they're about 16 points outside of top 25, which really is just one solid game. And
that's right.
That's kind of how the qualifiers went, right? If you could win a game, get at least 25 points, chances are you were inside the top 25. I'd imagine it's very similar to what we're witnessing here, but what we're also witnessing is TBE in the form and drill charge galore. Now, if you're watching this at home and you're like, how do I improve my ranked play? Well, I got a couple words for you. It's going to be the Cronus Ball, the KB Broadside, and drill charges.
Big facts. The drill charges are really the only way you can significantly push into a building without seeing anyone. And so, yeah, stock your backpack up full of those, and you'll likely be able to breach a building, maybe with a player advantage if you can grab a knock. We'll continue to follow TBE fighting for their spots at the top. A couple of the teams on edge of zone. Again, an opportunity to wipe Prospect, Empathy playing next to each other. I don't see Braxton around. That team in trouble. They're going to make sure they stay alive. Here's Eno, Zepti, Shadowwag looking for a couple eliminations. And so far, everybody's playing patient. Nobody's pushing TBE. TBE, they like to play their triangle defense. Right now, they're playing neck and neck. And looks like Huskerrs might be going for a swim. Tiff! Portable buy, getting Scumman back, okay.
Yeah, but when you are centered by 5 teams looking to make something happen, and yes, I love the throwing of the smoke in the water and diving down to reposition, but we're talking about the best teams in the lobby. They're just gonna shoot, and if they start connecting, they're eliminating you. Almond finally able to find Wag, so that's another elimination for them. Currently sitting on 6, so now they're setting it forward. They want to get towards where Zepti and Pain is, but how do you breach that? Because it's tough, right? That's another building. We've got frags. I don't really see too many drill charges, but Smixy flies in right into the mix.
Here's the thing, that building's great. You got height. It's only going to be partially in zone for another, what, 40 seconds or so. This zone will start closing. It's going to be out of zone. It's a good spot to hold for now. Then you're going to have to rotate likely further in. If you get a nice favorable zone pull, you can see TBE winning it all here. I still don't love the rotation from under the bridge into the next one. I'm looking over at team 28. That's Vonbot, Dead, Sinner, Donkey, Vonbot, Nofo, harkening back to the early days of this tournament. A mere couple hours ago, feels like a millennia ago. They're back on main stage and they have the positioning, and there are a lot of teams over here for TBE to soak up and eat. Again, yes, we would love to win, but kills are king when it comes down to these multipliers, especially when you're inside the top 20 like we are right now. Multipliers galore. TBE is eating.
21 minutes into game number 6, 20 squads left, which puts us into the multiplier. But when you've got teams like Aydan and Rated, Huskerrs, Unrational, and Scummin, they're still alive. The money matters for them at this point. They've already sealed their ticket to the next. Now we're just looking for a couple differentials on how much each of those players will take home today.
Dead Alive Tracker says a lot. 2 things I want to shout out. Braxton Empathy Prospect out of it currently. Will they make top 25? Time will tell. Ebates, Z Smith, DJ Moss also out. Still qualifying, no question about it. Not walking home with as much cash as they would have liked. TBE still alive, and T-Nuts having a decent game. Guess who's on the other side? It's Ryda and Arrays. One of our teams at the top vying for a top place position. This could be a massive game for Arrays, Ryda, and IQ. We'll see if what they're able to do is they're able to hold potentially Aydan moving in.
Ooh. Aydan grabbing loadout. Now, something that we haven't necessarily talked about on the broadcast yet is those late game loadouts either allow you to get your F-Tac Siege, your Shark Hunt.
That's right.
Loadout, or a second set of perks that you can swap if a UAV gets popped. Dude, that's really cool that you can stow an extra set. Meanwhile, Adrian is going to get taken down by Tommy and fooled. Now, I'm not sure if they've sussed out where Tommy is, but with a portable buy in the water, Aydan goes for a nice chill swim amidst the chaos.
TBE still farming the lobby though on the outer edges of zone, and guess who's dead center still? It's Dongi. F-Tac Siege feels nice underwater, but Dongi, Nofo, Vonbot, dead center. Team 28, look at that mini map. They've got the remaining building on lockdown. Everyone fighting around them. Is Dongi picking up a few kills here or there? You hope so if you're that team, because these could be worth thousands of dollars each if you're not careful. But TBE somehow still up, and Aydan swimming for his life on the edge of zone.
Yo, Shaded Step just pushed the issue with swimming out, trying to nab a kill onto Aydan. He turns around in the water and sieges him down. But I like TBE's positioning here. Aydan now out of the water and is able to keep an eye out because he never got the full. Utilizing smoke to try and isolate any view site that people can have on him. He has spotted TBE and is now able to... He's holding him outside of zone, but is it going to be enough?
Oh, I'm not sure. All I know is Aydan can't be happy about whatever happened just then. We got to keep moving, though. Aydan's going to fall. Still a solid game. Will they have enough to win? Probably not when you've got TBE skating around the outer edges of this zone, farming kill after kill. We've lost Tommy. Almond's in trouble. Noobs goes down. All of a sudden, TBE's in trouble. Still a banger of a map thus far. We've got to get inside of zone without falling. It's going to be difficult when you got Auto-Rise on the other side.
Noobs is still alive. 3 squads, but I can't imagine for much more. And just like that, Brawlic deletes him. But it's Team Vonbot, your map 1 winners, still alive in the mix of things. 8 squads remaining, 12 players. But sometimes that gas mask animation is not going to be your friend. Donkey goes down, does have a self-res, but no one's there to shoot for him while he gets that off. Brawlic last alive for his team. Sage in the background coming out of the water is now, but they do have the numbers advantage on Team Vonbot.
Tiff, the cousins are in the god spot. They're in the final bit of cover. Mayapo, Autorize trying to seal their path to stage 2 finals. They don't care about the money. They care about their position. They need a big one, and they need it now. They're in position for it. Autorize found Brolic, one of the other teams vying for top 25 spot. We've got a lot of squads trying to fight. Look who's still alive, though. Adrian, hello. Pistol in hand. Shot from distance. Does get cleaned up. Nofo finds it. Autorize Mayapo still in a fantastic spot. We're down to 3 total squads. One's already center of zone, and we've got a 2v2 for the final fight.
Look, if Sage is still alive and is the solo who rotated early, they could totally clutch this up because it's going to force Vonbot and Nofo into each other. A little bit of chaos, but the thing is, what do you do?
Oh, this is a tight fight. It's actually Team Hollywood is the last line. That's Team 23. Mayapo finds one. You're gonna have to play the trades. Autorize Mayapo, cousin chemistry finally locking in and finding the double kill. Down to the final fight with pistols up ahead. I can only imagine Autorize and Mayapo will win this. Dongi trying to swim down below. Can't win the 1v2. Final player either up in the air, on the bridge, or otherwise. There they go. Hollywood last alive, floating in the air. Nice little multiplier to write home about, but huge congratulations. Autorize and Mayapo. They needed it. They wanted it. We've been waiting for it. One of my favorite squads of the day really had a tough tourney, but map number 6 went in their favor, and they set themselves up flawlessly at the end to win the gunfights and win the map.
Hey, hopefully they soaked up enough eliminations to really put a dent in that leaderboard, secure themselves well within that top 25, because that was the first and foremost goal of all of our players here today. Secure the spot in the 25, and if you get some cheddar alongside it, you know, it's not a bad day.
Tiff, this leaderboard is going to be so incredibly close. We saw Team Aydan with Adrian flying in the final moments. Let's take a look back on that replay. Here's that perspective from, of course, this is, I believe, Mayapo on screen currently. Here's the reaction of the victory. Finds the double kill with one up in the air. They've got to be feeling good about this map. Finally, they come online. We've all been waiting for it. I think that was more of a relief. Again, I think it was, let's take a sip of the water bottle and move on. Now, I only saw 2 there, but I did see a sizable amount of eliminations double. That's a 30 or some odd point game that they're going to be adding to their leaderboard. That means they will qualify pretty much no matter what. Remember, that metric at cutoff at top 25 likely is going to be around 50 or 55 points. Mayapo, Autorize, calm, cool, and collected as per the usual. Some of the top players in Warzone eking their way into the stage 2 finals. That right there shows how strong this lobby truly is. But Tiff, that's all we've got. That was the last game of the day. I'm excited about tomorrow. Any final words from the broadcast?
Look, I've got nothing. Just get ready for EU tomorrow, because it's going to be a banger just like today was.
6 maps done and dusted. Analysts are going to take care of the rest. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one.
welcome back everybody to the World Series of Warzone Stage 1 NA Regional Qualifiers. That's 6 games down and dusted, and now we just wait for our standings. But first, we've got to talk about that game number 6. Dream, I asked the question, would it be a fast-paced lobby? I think it's fair to say it definitely was. And it was also our first lobby with the zones not going to the desert, you know, hovering around the water, right? So we went from ultimate dry to wet. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, we definitely went from ultimate dry to wet, right? But hey, man, how cool was it to see Mayapple, the ultimate slayer, thriving in that environment? Because, you know, there was a little bit of a talk about him having a little bit of struggles this year, but I mean, individually as a player, like this guy, his elims still just as high, even compared to last year. You know, it's just like he seems like he's always coming out on top in those aggressive scenarios.
I would say so, and also to mention Dongi, I think it's fair to say Vonbot, Nofo, as well as Dongi, like coming in, we knew they were going to be a talented roster. They were one of the teams we covered when we were discussing that 50-point elimination game that they had in last week's qualifier, Dandro. So it was great to see them kind of emulate that success and at times even get close to a win and really showcase what they're about, or even get a win. So good on them for doing so, but big wins from this trio. They finally got one.
Yeah, I mean, map 6, you know, maybe a little late. That's fine. But hey, I love that to see that they were able to clutch it up in map 6. Anyway, I'm curious to see how that shakes up the standings at all. Was that enough for them to maybe just squeak out onto the bottom side of that bubble? I'm going to be looking at it because we've seen before, sometimes all it takes is one game, right? With some solid eliminations that then pair it up with that 2x multiplier. It can happen, right? And obviously this is a team that, you know, they want to be there. They're a team that I think people would expect to be there, but maybe just a little bit of a lackluster performance earlier on today finally catches up with them. They're here, and I hope, you know, they are able to make it on. Otherwise, they're going to be moving back to the stage 2 regional qualifiers.
Have to do it all over again, right? Something they don't want to do, but something they might have to do, depending on where they fall on the standings, top 25 or outside of the top 25. Let's recap today because we had 6 wonderful games. And Dream, we're going to start with you. Your dream team taking game number 1. Spider Tiff also predicting that as well. Triple S tearing it up, and a miraculous win, X12 against, well, at least that was Shifty getting the X12 kill. Wonderful job, Hisoka.
Yeah, it was a donkey.
That's what it was.
Yeah, absolutely crazy too. I mean, like, just the fact that we, you know, had called that, and then that was the game number, like, 1 that we walked away with. Absolutely insane stuff from them, but also too to give a shout out to Dongi, because I mean, I feel like, you know, in terms of consistency, that squad throughout the whole entire day has just been doing so well. And obviously this engagement right here to start off was just absolutely insane from Shifty. But, you know, one of the things that was kind of questionable going into this, of course, was that IGL role for Hisoka. A lot of people were wondering or questioning, like, is he going to, you know, step up to the plate to be able to handle that? Which of course he is, but how good will he be? I think when it comes to some of the decision making in game, obviously consistency is key. They've been doing that, but what do they need to do to secure that game win, like that first place spot? Maybe study other teams a little bit more. I know that's something that Hisoka likes to do, is study the trajectory of other teams to be able to avoid or engage, depending. So we'll see.
That's right.
Where they fall.
Well, they're only going to get better from here without question, and I think it's safe to say they probably qualified. Moving on to map 2, Dandro, right? We saw Aydan over in the desert pulling up and going big, and that was a big deal for me because I think it fit their play style. They rose up to the occasion and they handled their business.
Yeah, I mean, we even saw it, kind of Aydan was talking, where it was just basically him and Adrian who were the only 2 left alive, and they were just flying through the rest of the map. Obviously, we know what Aydan and Raiden are capable of. I'm happy to see Adrian is here on the largest stage in Warzone, showcasing why he deserves to be on a high caliber team like this. We heard Aydan in the interview hyping him up, saying, hey, he's the Chatter disciple, right? And he deserves to be here. And I believe this end game really, truly kind of showcases the prowess that this team has.
Yeah, Hadrian, we'll see the top 10 eliminations probably end the show, but he was on that top 10 when we had a chance to look at it after Game 5 going into Game 6. He definitely was a wonderful addition and clearly showcased why he can play with Rated and Aydan. A duo, right, that is just done so much when it comes to competitive Warzone. We move on to Game 3, and this is where we saw IQ tear it up in late game Dreamin'. They had a heck of a game, finishing, I believe, if I do my math right, 24. See, look, that's why I did 24 eliminations, 26 eliminations, something like that. But good job from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick maths. But hey, we Game 3 kind of ended in that like central Hydro Maziwa area, and you know, being posted up early obviously will set you up for success. And I mean, being able to take the eliminations along the way, IQ did just that, dropping a hot 11 for that and securing a win. Of course, increasing their chances, but if not, securing a little bit of a bigger prize pool.
That's right, and the prize pool was the big story of today, $150,000 being played for. We now move to game number 4, and it was Team Huskerrs, Dandro, who ended up taking it with a just as impressive elimination game, and this was great to see them at the top, especially since they had struggled in previous games.
Yeah, you even heard it in the interview with Unrational, right? He was just like, I can't believe what we just pulled off, right? He was saying he had to win a series of a 1v2 into a 1v3, hit a really risky buyback to get both of the teammates in, but in the end, it was exactly what they needed. They shot to the top of the scoreboard after a rough start, and now they're going to be sitting very pretty, I got to imagine, at the standings. I actually saw a screenshot on Twitter that somebody posted of the sort of total kills of the squad, and they said, I thought this was supposed to be a customs lobby. These guys are out here playing like it's a pub right now, and
wow.
It's got to look insane on that scoreboard. I'm glad they're
right.
back in the mix.
That's a huge compliment, saying that you're playing a competitive lobby like a pub lobby. That's because you're slaying out as well as you are. This was a special game to me, though, Dream. Game number 5, one of our trios we covered in the pre-show for winning a game over in qualifiers. They win a game here today, and what's special is it's a team that was relatively unknown. They're looking to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that they secured this win a man down is just absolutely insane. And yeah, maybe not picking up a ton of kills, but I mean, the fact that you still were able to do that and regain, not to mention get better every game, it's still definitely something that is a proud achievement.
That's right. And we had a chance to talk to Mainframe, you know, very well spoken himself. It was nice to hear from him. And he even said he was a substitute before, now a main addition to this roster. And I would love to see him continue to compete with this trio because they clearly have what it takes to be the best. I think we have standings coming in about 20 minutes. I'm joking. Hey, chat, I'm joking. They're right here before you. We got Team Aydan in first place. Well done. We know that there was a little bit of a dropout from Aydan from that last game, but they still secure it. That's got to be such a great feeling, Dandro.
I mean, listen, they obviously were feeling pretty good after that second map. They had another banger map later on in the series, and you're seeing it here now. 77 total eliminations and some really solid placement throughout the day is what's going to get you to that 132.6, not too far behind them. You got TBE, the Minnesota Rockers squad, and Team Huskerrs. TBE just consistent all day long, and that's going to net them that second spot. Team Huskerrs, obviously, they had that electric game 4. Well, they keep it consistent for games 5 and 6. So we're excited to see them up here, right? Rounded out, we got the dream team. It's Hisoka, Skullface, and Shifty. And in 5th place, we got Team IQ. They said they wanted to go back-to-back. Well, it wasn't back-to-back, but I got to assume that it was back-to-back good placements because they're up here at the top. 78 total eliminations, 114 total points. They're sitting pretty, and they are definitely loving the cash that they just took home.
Absolutely. The cash is big, but also breaking into top 5, or excuse me, top 10 with this competition. We now go down from 11th to 20th. Dream, who do you see?
Instantly, we've been talking about our team Smixy hitting that 20th spot with Attract and Flank. So, I mean, these two even, I mean, they've won tournaments, so many tournaments in the past even. So just to see that, of course, and hey, Team Brawlic, Mutex, Brawlic, and Jesus Jr. up there too, as well as Super Evan, Z Colors, and Swagg, which I want to shout out Z Colors because there were so many scenarios where this guy stayed alive for the regain, and it just happened so many times. So hey, they made that bubble spot. That's what you wanted to do.
Oh man, but now I'm nervous. Who is going to be that 20 through 25, right? Who was our bubble team? And our bubble team was Nick Cole, Picnic Backstick, as well as Magnificent, a talented trio that we're going to be seeing again for sure, losing by just less than a point, literally 0.4. I know that's got to sting, but that 25th team is going to be Studley Gunplays as well as DRD Rubber. They are in 25. Well done. And who else do we have up the list? I see Brax Empathy Prospect. Hollywood as well, right? He was kind of consistent in text. That's going to round out your top 25. And Dandra, who else? Symphony, no, 29th place. Didn't quite make it to 25.
Yeah, we got Team Symphony 29th, OP marked in 28th, and obviously Team Darker Pit down there at 30th. So those are the squads who may be going to go back to the drawing board, either have to go through and they'll have to play those regional qualifiers. But hey, I think the fact that they made it to stage 1 finals should be what they kind of take away from this. You played in a very, very, very tough lobby, right? Yes,